Let's check in with Ron.
Thanks, Kenny. Coach Fossil, you moved the ball up and down the field the entire half, converting that into 2 touchdowns late. Evaluate the offense.
Well, I think, we made the big play on them on the double pass there, and then we're running the football again consistently. We're moving the football. We just got to eliminate our mistakes.
What do you tell your guys at halftime?
We're only halfway there, and we came here on a mission, and we want to prove something, and we got to get on that mission second half.
Very good. Thanks, Coach. Kenny, Paul.
We go down to the sideline now. Ron Kruk and Natalie Taylor joining us as always. And Ron, we're talking about some really outstanding quarterbacks and some offense that we expect to see tonight, but there's something else I think is going to happen, huh?
Well, sure, Kenny. We do have 2 former NFL quarterbacks doing battle here tonight, but Vegas has some NFL veterans on defense as well that are ready to slow down that potent Florida attack. Linebacker Gary Stills is a 10-year NFL veteran, and in 2003 went to the Pro Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. And safety Tony Parrish, he spent 9 seasons in the NFL with the Bears, 49ers, and the Cowboys. His best year, 2003 as well, when he picked off 9 passes. These are 2 defensive studs that bring some much-needed veteran leadership to this defense. All right, let's go across the field to the Florida sideline and Natalie Taylor. Nat?
Ron, what's going on with Las Vegas coming in here?
Well, Kenny, this week I had the chance to talk with head coach Jim Fossil, who is no stranger to big games. After all, he did lead the New York Giants to Super Bowl 35 in 2001. At the beginning of the season, he gathered his team around and told them that the championship game would take place in Las Vegas in their home stadium, and he didn't want 2 other teams from different cities in that title game. Win tonight, and they're in, and they accomplished that goal. Head coach Jim Fossil spoke about the huge opportunity in front of them and a very interesting practice this week in Casa Grande.
Well, I mean, it's going to determine the outcome of our seasons. That's what it's going to do. It's going to determine the outcome. If we don't win, there's a good chance we're not going to the championship game. If we win, we're going to at least be in the championship game.
My first time here in Casa Grande, very interesting situation. Here you are, you basically live with your opponent.
I know where you're going, this is great.
I'm out on the practice field today, and you guys are, practicing pretty much right next to each other. Is it strange that here you are and now you're facing the team that you have to beat to get to the championship game, and you basically live and practice together?
I've been a coach for 38 years, never practiced on the same field as the team we're playing. And you're talking about a big game. I mean, good grief.
It's one of the greatest atmospheres in all of college football. Air Force and Notre Dame, the Rumble in the Rockies. For CSTV, I'm Ron Kruk. Omaha takes the lead thanks to a touchdown pass from Jeff Garcia to Jeff Putzier. Jeff, how did he get so open?
He wasn't open at the beginning, and then they just dropped coverage. Fortunately, was able to buy a little time, and had the guys stuck with him, we would have been in trouble. But Jeb kept working, linebacker left him, and I just threw it where he can get it. Fortunately, we made a play.
Jeff, it seems like this offense has been stalled most of the game. Are they doing anything defensively that's confusing you guys?
I mean, they're doing a good job defensively, but it's been a frustrating afternoon, frustrating second half especially.
Welcome back to the UFL on HDNet. Omaha holds a 12-7 lead over Sacramento right now. And each week, our cameras get to sneak into the locker room and see what's going on at halftime. Let's take a look into the Omaha Nighthawks locker room.
We have to make it so we know where we are. Okay? We were just in between. What do you want to call?
We can call it. We're lined up, and the backers got their back turned. So they got to know when to back too. If we're going to call it, we need to be consistent with it, and they need to call it. All they got to see it also, because we see them.
Joined now by Omaha's Director of Player Personnel, Ted Sundquist. And Ted, no other team in the UFL signed more big-name former NFL stars than you guys. Tell us about the philosophy in putting this team together.
Yeah, you know, Ron, we really felt like in trying to gel as quickly as we possibly could with an expansion football team, that bringing in that portion of the player pool that was kind of being forgotten by the NFL, those guys with 7, 8, 9 years of experience that were out of football for whatever reason, be the route to go. And so, you know, we built the foundation, you know, at first with regards to the expansion draft with good guys that played in the league last year, kind of filled it in with some free agents after that. And then when we looked at the draft, We went after the type of player that you're talking about, the veteran guy, the guy who played in the league, been in games, knows how to practice, knows how to prepare, is a professional.
Ted, you were part of the Denver Broncos organization in 2005 when you brought in and drafted Maurice Clarett. We all know that his NFL career didn't turn out the way that he had hoped, his off-the-field issues, but you bring him back here to play in Omaha. What made you think that he still had some football left in him?
Well, you know, first off, the guy was just an explosive runner that freshman year at Ohio State. And, you know, really everything that led up to us drafting him said that this guy was going to be a successful player in the National Football League.
Welcome back to Tropicana Field. 2 quick scores give Las Vegas a 14-7 lead. D.D. Dorsey, you took a simple pitch and went 22 yards for the score. Describe the play.
Oh, like you said, as a pitch play, the lineman got out in front of me, created this seam, and I just ran into the end zone.
How about the Hogs up front there creating some holes, aren't they?
Oh, they're beautiful. Florida has a really aggressive defense, but our O-line's doing a really great job of handling them, making holes, and their backs just running through them.
And it helps when your defense is creating turnovers.
Oh, yeah, always. Anytime you go in the turnover battle, you have a good chance of winning the game. So as long as we keep it up, got a hole, another half to play, we got to keep it up, put some more points on the board, hopefully come out with a victory.
Thanks, D.D. Kenny, Paul, back to you.
NFL players training in mixed martial arts during the off-season has become very common. However, the training philosophies of one coach and how he is turning MMA fundamentals into football applications has some of the biggest stars in the NFL traveling to his gym in San Francisco.
Take your time coming back. There you go. The approach I really initiate on the national football level is the exact same thing I do with some of the more elite fighters here, is I really target the mental capacity of this individuals. I make that the goal. I don't care about what their body's capable of doing.
As a former linebacker at Fresno State, Tarek Azim understands the X's and O's of football, but he also has combat sports in his blood, training for years under Horian Gracie and learning the sweet science under Freddie Roach and Juan Carlos Martinez. Azim combined the different sports techniques and began coaching his unique philosophies to several players on the Oakland Raiders. Their growth on the football field caught the eye of Oakland's head coach at the time, Tom Cable.
When I was working with these guys, Coach Cable had discovered some changes in their game and had asked, actually, the head of their equipment manager, Danny Molina, what's going on with these guys? And I was training these elite athletes. Here's what I think would modify your throwing power. Here's what I think would help your drop. And it'd be fundamentals of the footwork from boxing for the quarterbacks. And it made a huge difference in these games. And then some of the linebacker drops for guys like Sam Williams, and angle awareness that I teach from stand-up.
Suddenly, NFL superstars were flocking to train with Azim, including Aldon Smith, Lamar Woodley, Marshawn Lynch, and Justin Tuck.
The body will pretty much do whatever the mind tells it to. So with Tarek, man, you know, some of the sayings and the phrases you continue to hear from him while training is be comfortable with it.
You can overachieve if you want. It's up to you.
When you hear it at first, you're like, what? And then after a while, you start thinking, yeah, I'm not gonna die.
One more time each side. Let's go while the fatigue is active, though.
And if you continue to push those limits will move.
Good.
You know, I think if you get a guy like T, to where you'll come in and you'll be able to get a little bit more than just mixed martial arts and or strength and conditioning, but I sit down with him and get with him on a strategic level.
Both Lynch and Tuck believe basic elements of MMA and boxing can cross over to success on the gridiron.
Sprint.
Being able to use techniques learned here to get blockers off of me, but also at that mental edge. When you are tired in that fourth quarter and finding ways to turn it up a notch even when you really don't have a notch to turn it up.
I throw a little mean stiff arm. So I mean, you know, just placement of where I can throw my hands, setting them up and putting them in positions that maybe it might not catch them in the face, and it might be on the top end of a shoulder pad or right up underneath an underarm. So I mean, you know, it's good for my hand placement and knowing how to throw it.
His saying is stripping you down of your inefficiencies. Once that's stripped down, he builds you right back up.
Try to land on your toes and roll onto your heels, okay? If you know that you can do things normal people can't do, it takes your confidence to an all-time high, to where, you know, striking one-on-one with an O lineman is nothing compared to like having a guy attack you full speed.